Then they started kicking down doors and telling people to gather in the showers, basically then sorting people out, trying to get ID, and if they had ID, they'd be releasing them. If they didn't, certainly taking them down to 52. I'm Tim McCaskill. I'm a gay liberation dinosaur. In those early days, nobody really took us very seriously. The vast majority of gay men and lesbians and trans people were in the closet. It didn't make any sense to be open or out about yourself because there was no human rights protection. You could be thrown out of your apartment, fired from your job, refused service in a restaurant for being gay, and there was absolutely no recourse. The attempt at closing down places like the baths where people would gather in relative privacy was a way of driving everyone back into the closet. February 5th, 81, they simultaneously raided almost all of Toronto gays' baths, arrested 300 people. It was at that point the second largest mass arrest in Canadian history. It was their first attempt at a major war against the gay male community. It was a very cold February night. Probably about 11:30 or so, a roommate knocked on the door. And he said, "Gerald Hannon from the Body Politic is calling and he wants to talk to you." Gerald said, "They're raiding all the baths. You're closest to the club baths, which is at Carlton and Jarvis, basically." When I got there, the cops were already in control. The metaphor I use is that they were like a pride of lions that had made their kill, and so they didn't really care about the jackals that were on the outside of the periphery. What I started to do was to try to talk to the people who were being released. The first person I spoke to was in those days I would consider an older man. He was probably in his 40s, and he said, "I don't understand it. These places have been open for years. All of a sudden the police were there, they kicked down the door." They had been sending plainclothes people to see what was going on. And so if they had seen anybody engaging in any kind of sexual activity or even kind of like kissing or whatever like that, that could be construed as sexual activity. So they had taken down notes. They're beating people up, they're calling us faggots, they're kicking down the doors, they're treating us like animals, like what the hell is going on here? What have we done? We haven't broken any laws, have we? Right? Nobody knew. It was front page news in the Star the next morning. Suddenly the whole village was full of posters telling people to come down to Yonge and Wellesley at midnight. So it was a large demonstration for those days, enough to close down the street and enough to outperson anything that the police could pull together at that point. The chant that went up was "Fuck you 52," because 52 Division was the division that had organized most of the raids. Somebody started shouting "Queen's Park." The crowd turned and off we marched towards Queen's Park. When I got there, I could see at those big wooden doors, people were throwing themselves against the doors and pushing against the doors. And I thought, oh my God, we're going to burn down Queen's Park now. I think it was a turning point for the community. It meant that the gay community emerged as a community force, one that could articulate what it needed, one that could make demands on government, and one that could bring hundreds or thousands of people into the streets to back that up. My advice to younger people today is that we have to today do what we did back in '81, look for allies, figure out who's on our side of the fence and get ourselves organized. The stakes are really, really high. It's a difficult fight, and I don't know whether we're going to be able to win it or not, but it's far better to die fighting than, try hiding under a rock and they find you eventually anyway.